I would like to welcome Michael Frohlich to the stage next. If you don't know Michael, you have been missing out. He's the CEO for Ogilvy, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. He was a conspirator with myself and with Candace that you met yesterday from Hill and Knowlton to drag Cannes Lions into producing a Young PR Lions competition. You'll actually meet last year's winners later today. He's worked for other agencies as well, so he's got a perspective that's not just Ogilvy and WPP. And he wants to talk about how to win at a gunfight by bringing an aubergine. So I think he gets the award for most creatively titled presentation. So please join me in welcoming Michael Frohlich to the stage.
Oops. So thank you, David, for that introduction. I'm quite proud of having the most creative title of the 2 days. So good morning, all. Today I'm going to take around 15 minutes to share some of my experiences and learnings about PR in an integrated world. And then maybe, if anyone's got, it'll be good to have a bit of a Q&A after. So who am I? I'm an extremely opinionated and frustrated person. I'm also extremely motivated, excited, and inspired. And I'm all these things about one thing, and it's about our industry. For many years, I felt like working in PR has been like turning up to a gunfight with an aubergine. Irrelevant, useless, but odd enough to get noticed. Now, I've got nothing against aubergines. They have great nutritional value, I think. But what I always wanted was a gun. And I always wanted a gun that James Bond would be proud of. And that's been my challenge, to find my PR gun and to win the gunfight. But, and it's a big but, I'm excited to finally be able to say that we've won. We're in an age of change, of rapid change, and we've never been more powerfully positioned to be the winners of the race to lead the future of marketing. So today, I'm going to give you my tips on how to win. And remember, I work in the belly of the largest integrated agency in the world, so I really have seen what goes on. 3 things have really happened to change the briefs that clients are issuing, and therefore the work that we're expected to produce, and in turn, how agencies need to respond. And these 3 things are, firstly, we've forgotten as PR people why we matter. Secondly, people only care about what matters to them. And thirdly, the most successful brands are those that matter. So, firstly, why have we forgotten why we matter? As technology continues to change the way the world is evolving and how people live, marketeers are all trying to get to the same ears and eyes of the end user. And there are only so many ways that we can do that. So all the disciplines are offering clients the same, but they're crashing into each other and causing chaos along the way. So we as PR people, we've kind of forgotten why we matter, who we are, and what we're doing, and why we do it. And for our clients, it's an absolute minefield. They're looking for a simple business solution that matters to them, and we're offering multiple different but similar options in response. Recently, I was given the opportunity to contribute to the Public Relations Handbook by Routledge, which is published later on this year. And the editor asked me why I'd be including case studies from the 1920s. Now, well, aside from the fact that these case studies are kind of magical, they also serve as an important purpose in reminding us of the pure power of PR. They show a clear skeleton of a PR campaign, which in today's blurring world, you currently just can't see anywhere else. So I thought it worth just taking one of those and reminding us all what we do, why we do it, and how brilliant it can be in its purest form, even with this, within this mad, kind of crashing, chaotic world that we operate in. So, this is Edward Louis James Bernays, a nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he owned his agency in 1919. Bernays is often referred to as the father of public relations, who pioneered many of the basics of persuasion and third-party endorsement. In fact, Bernays defined the emerging profession of PR as the opposite to the established ad men who relied solely on paid media to get their message across in a crude, one-way fashion. Sound familiar? Definitely sounds familiar to me. And in contrast to the men of Madison Avenue, Bernays sought to create multiple interwoven events, all involving the most influential people to deliver the message that he wanted. Again, all sounds pretty familiar of today. Now, one of his most famous and best campaigns was around breaking the gender taboo in tobacco. So in the 1920s, it was considered taboo for women to smoke in public. George W. Hill, president of the American Tobacco Company, realized that his company was missing out on a share of the market. So he hired Bernays to change the taboo and persuade women to start smoking. Bernays contacted a psychoanalyst called Abraham Brill to understand the societal perceptions that discourage women from smoking. Brill told him that for feminists, cigarettes were like torches of freedom that symbolized their nonconformity and freedom from male oppression. So Bernays used this information to build a strategy, an insightful strategy. He contacted a female friend and asked her to find a group of women to march in the New York City Easter Day Parade. He asked her to tell the press that a group of women's rights marchers would light torches of freedom. The women then lit Lucky Strike cigarettes in front of the eager photographers, and on the 1st of April 1929, the New York Times printed, "Group of girls puff at cigarettes as a gesture of freedom." Now, the appetite for revolution of the day, and with some careful orchestration, this was then repeated across America, and a wave of acceptance of women smoking was born. And it didn't stop there. Bernays then went on to make the forest green packaging colour of Lucky Strikes the hottest trend of the season through influencer endorsement and targeted media relations. Now, this is a brilliant campaign, and it shows three things: true clarity of insight, simple thinking, and really smart activation. And in many ways, is actually far superior to many of the off-the-shelf campaigns of any marketing discipline today. This work also reminds us that although we might be tempted to crash like bumper cars with all the other disciplines, we can be loyal to our heritage of having the best approach for effective communications. A simple idea told by trusted people in a compelling way. The second big change that we've had in our worlds is that consumer is king and only cares what matters to them. Consumers are in control like never before. And over time, we've moved from an age of deference where for centuries the populace did what their elders say and the leaders said, regardless of the task they were asking to be done. It then moved to an age of reference, where due to scandal and modern thinking, trust became the most valuable commodity and people only trusted people like themselves. And that's changed again. And the pyramid has now flipped on its side. And we now live in an age of relevance, where we only engage in things that totally matter to us. It's got to come from the right people at the right time and must fulfill my passion points and resonate directly with me. It's no longer about real time, but about relevant time. And then the final change in the landscape is that only the most successful brands have found their reason to matter, and many brands just haven't. Because what goes around comes around. Brands have been asking consumers for years and years and years what a person would expect from his or her friend: loyalty, trust, attention, time, and love. But now consumers are asking the same in return of their brands, and the majority of brands just don't know how to respond, meaning they're in danger of just not mattering anymore. And research suggests that people wouldn't care if most brands simply disappeared. Brands can't matter on their own, because the true value of a brand lies in what people say to each other, not what the brand says to its audience. Brands just aren't in control anymore, people are. But we as PR people have the power to give brands their role, their reason for being in people's lives, and really make them matter. So, to summarise, we've got three things that have happened over the course of kind of the last decade. Firstly, in the communications chaos, we've forgotten why, as PR people, we matter. Secondly, people only care what matters to them. Consumers are king more than ever before. And thirdly, for those brands that don't matter anymore, we're the magic pill. We're the magic ingredient to help them matter in the future. So with all of this, why has PR won? Why have we as an industry already won the race ahead of all our marketing colleagues in a world that's seeing a major shift in our clients' needs? Because at the centre of those needs is PR. Now, our clients may not recognise it, other agencies and disciplines may not recognise it, but it is PR. We recognise it. It is PR at the heart of clients' needs at the moment. Understanding relevance and being able to respond in real time is what we do. After all, it's how the news has been created for centuries. But why we really have won is because we finally worked out not only how to make a quick-firing gun, but we've also become the go-to sharpshooters, being able to micro-target in relevant time. This bloke, he's a lovely bloke, this bloke rocked my world earlier this year. And he's Ben Richards, and he's the Chief Strategy Officer of Ogilvy and Mather Group worldwide. And standing in front of the worldwide Ogilvy PR leadership in Washington earlier this year, he said, "We need to stop apologising because in the fight of integration, we fucking won." Okay, only one swear word in the speech, had to get it in there. So I joined Ogilvy because I wanted to work with all the disciplines on big clients with big ideas. And luckily, that's what I've been able to do. But I've also learned that big ideas for big brands can come from anywhere, regardless of the size of your agency. And the magic I've seen is that PR is the glue. It's the glue that holds fully integrated campaigns together. Because it's us who drive the substantive, deep narrative at the centre of all activity, sandwiched between the strategic insight and creative platform. We deliver, protect, and build the authentic story at the heart of driving deeper brand and business influence. Now, if you look at the Cannes Lions, the best multi-award-winning campaigns are the multidisciplinary ones and integrated with PR at the very heart. And I know this has been mentioned a couple of times already in this conference, but this year's PR Grand Prix winner, Like a Girl, is a great example of a totally integrated campaign with PR really driving the story forward to success. Now, I have checked, and the case study video hasn't been shown, so I am going to show it, if that's okay, because I think it's worth just seeing the campaign.
Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some actions to do. And just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
It's the latest thought-provoking ad that has everyone talking.
I have chills.
It's tapping into a conversation or a debate that's already huge online.
What advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swim like a girl?
Keep doing it, because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl or kicking like a girl or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring and you're still getting to the ball on time and you're still being first, you're doing it right. Doesn't matter what they say.
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
Now, that's not one of our campaigns. I'm not doing an ad for Ogilvy. It's nothing to do with us at all. There have been quite a lot of grumblings about this campaign, and I was in Cannes, as many of us were, and when it won, there were grumblings, because the questions that came out was it really a PR idea? Should have been winning the PR category? Which agency delivered which part of the campaign? And you know what, honestly, I just don't care. It's all about the power of a big, brilliant idea. There are those parts of our industry who worry about this glue, this PR glue, not being undertaken by pure PR operations. Again, I don't care. As long as the work strives to be world-class, then we should always celebrate it and learn from it. Our job as PR leaders should be about identifying and policing the best practice of our discipline in an integrated world, regardless of which agency is doing it. So, how do we continue to win in a world that continues to be soft and to soften and to flex? And here are my thoughts. And this is what I've learned over the last kind of 4 or 5 years. It's not from a book or anything like that. It's simply what I've found to work. So firstly, turn up and take a stand. Simple. Turn up. The real madmen always brought their A game to every meeting they did. They were never bullied out of the room. You can't win the gunfight if you're not there or if you run away. Secondly, stop bringing an aubergine to a gunfight. Bring a gun. Use the same ammunition as the other marketing disciplines to fight our corner and to win. And that ammunition is the language we must seek to use, which is the language of strategic planning. And why strategic planning? Because tip number 3 is to start with the silver bullet of a consumer truth or insight and taking the cultural context of the day into consideration, not starting with what the client or the agency assumes might be right. Use data, be substantive, be credible. Don't allow any PR fluff. It's been working for ad agencies for years. Number 4 is to use technology. Creative technology transcends the disciplines and allows us to explore new targeted ways to deliver our messages across lots of different channels directly to our target audiences. Number 5 is have the right strategy to ensure the right structure to deliver what's needed. I was recently in a closed forum, listening to other PR agencies talk about their businesses. And what was amazing was their small, insular view of integration. To them, it was all about 2 of their practices, corporate and consumer, working together. And that was like the height of what integrated comms could be. And they just missed the point. They missed the point that integration is an opportunity to be the glue at the center of some of the biggest brands in the world. We as an industry are absolutely stuck in structures from bygone eras. And I'm the first to admit that change is really, really difficult. And even if you change the structure of your business and kind of remove all the barriers, it's the behaviors and the mindsets of your people that are the real challenge and the real change that's needed. After nearly 4 years at Ogilvy PR, I've just accepted that change is actually the only constant that you have. And sixthly, and lastly, be brilliant. Just be brilliant. There are too many PRs who aren't strategically tight. And I often wonder, when looking at the best campaigns the PR industry has to offer, is if they're actually down to accidental brilliance. The success of the campaign, it wasn't planned like an advertising campaign, it wasn't tested, it wasn't researched, it was more down to luck than judgment. But when all those above things happen, something quite beautiful is born. So I want to show you one campaign, and yes, this is one of ours. I couldn't resist showing you one of our campaigns. But this has to be one of my most favourite campaigns of recent years. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but it just kind of brings a tear to my eye every time I watch it. And it's from our Dubai office, and it takes one of the world's most famous brands, Coca-Cola, and gives it a real and meaningful narrative. It was launched by one TV ad, and then built over time via episodic stories and media endorsement.
In the Arab world, expectations are something we live with every day. We're expected to be engineers, doctors, or lawyers, just like our fathers. To always be formal around elders, even our own grandparents. Or marry someone our parents have already chosen for us. And these are all pressures we put on ourselves, which creates a lot of tension that we keep bottled up. And during the month of Ramadan, when things are supposed to get better, brands put even more pressure on us, with TV ads that make things even worse, hiding the real issues under the table, with happy families, fake glossy smiles, and plates loaded with food. And if that wasn't enough, they dare to tell us that we should be kinder and more generous to others. But aren't we doing that anyway in Ramadan? As a big FMCG brand, Coca-Cola faced the risk of falling into the same trap. So we decided to go to the root of our tension, the fact that we don't tell each other how we really feel. We invited our audience to open up, to speak the unspoken, and have a real connection with those who matter to us the most. As taboo as this might sound, we let our audience know that it is okay to break the norm. So we inspired them through unconventional stories we aired openly on TV.
تدري يا ابني، من أنا صغير كان حلمي أصير طيار، مو مهندس، بس القرار ما كان بيدي. أعرف زين إنك تحلم تصير مصور. على مود هذا الشيء قدمت لك أوراقك للكلية. هسه القرار صار بيدك.
And then we followed up with proof that it is in fact possible to overcome our tensions. So we created online films featuring real people in the region and their own open-up stories.
أنا بدر فايز، تخرجت في بكالوريوس في فن الطبخ.
هاي، اسمي آسيا، فاشن بلوجر من الكويت.
وأنا جاي من عائلة كلهم مهندسين. أبويا ما عمره قال إنه هو فخور فيا قدامي، بس يكون حلو إذا سمعتها منه.
صحيح ويكفي. احنا بدون شك فخورين بيك.
Our message hit home because we gave our audience a chance to free themselves from their internal struggle for the first time. In only 1 week, our videos reached over 1 million young people online. Hassan al-Zahrani from Riyadh even changed his major at university. By the last week of Ramadan, we touched the hearts of over 8 million people from all over the region. We didn't set out to change the Arab world. We just wanted to pave the way for stronger, more meaningful connections with the people we love. Open up. It's Ramadan.
So I love that campaign because it is all about real people, real stories across multiple different platforms. And it gave a massive FMCG brand a purpose, a role, a real story narrative. So I started off this speech by remembering how I used to feel about working in PR, like turning up to a gunfight with an aubergine. So I'd like to end the speech on how I feel now. And how do I feel? I feel like a winner. I genuinely feel like a winner. But more importantly, I think we should all feel like winners. This is our industry's moment to stand up and take the crown, to lead with pride, to make sense of all the chaos and be the glue our clients are crying out for. So, no more turning up to the top table and moaning that we're not being heard, and no more apologising before we share ideas. No more shrugging our shoulders when we're not on the Cannes winners list. PR is the future, and PR absolutely has won. Thank you.
We have a few minutes for some questions if there are any. You'll understand now why 4 or 5 times a year I run into Michael at Heathrow. We're on our way to a pitch, and I always think, oh shit, there's Frohlich again. So you understand my trepidation. So as you gather your questions, I'll give you one to maybe share your wisdom with us. So you work in an integrated group. What's the process for deciding the kind of traffic flow? Is it a scrum at the beginning? Is there a protocol, or is it really just kind of dependent on the situation?
Yeah, Scrum is probably a really good way of putting it. It really depends. So what we do is, it's not just Ogilvy, but WPP and my blessed leader, Sir Martin Sorrell, one of his big things is horizontality. So it's not just having the verticals of all the disciplines and all the different companies, but cutting horizontally across all of those disciplines and different businesses. And it's the same within Ogilvy. We're a highly matrix system. So what we try to do is when briefs come in is the individual operating companies, whoever gets the brief, then really does try and look at it from all different angles, and we'll start to invite in different communities. So we put quite a lot of effort into creating a planning community, a creative community from all the different operating companies. So my creatives from OPR in London sit on the UK creative community. So it means that when briefs come in and they start talking, ideas can come from anywhere. And generally, we've had some really big award wins over the last 3-4 years, some huge campaigns that I'm very proud of. But they were integrated. There were people from all over the group who helped with them. It's just the way that we work. But it is chaos. Always is. Any questions from the floor? Anything? No?
Well, thank you very much, Michael. It's a certain kind of I would say one kind of it's a certain kind of magician that's willing to tell us not just what to do, but how to work the magic, and that was very practical and instructive, and a great segue to our next panel discussion on creativity.